Welcome to Week in Horror.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
The only podcast that will feed your horror need.
The need to feed.
With JL.
Yeah, I'm a fucking masochist. I'll watch that shit.
Eugene.
Somebody has to be the sex symbol. I'm sorry.
Alex.
Shit, I just demonetized this forever.
And Johnny O.
How do you like that shit? Got halfway through the monologue before unmuting myself. Golly, it's one of them fucking days.
With industry guests.
Hi, this is Richard Oakes, Director of Host.
Hey, this is Adam Leader, Director of Host.
This is Matthew Mark Hunter.
I'm Donna Nelly.
And you're listening to Week in Horror.
And you're listening to Week in Horror.
And this is Week in Horror.
And you're listening to Week in Horror.
Welcome to prime time, bitch!
News, trivia, and more.
One by one, we will take you.
Join our live show Wednesdays at 7 Central, youtube.com/weekinhorror, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Week in Horror. Stay scared.
All right. Welcome back, horror fans. It's Thursday, different day of the week, Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Time. That means it's time for another episode of Week in Horror Podcast, the only podcast for the strange and unusual. Thank you for joining us for our live show, and for all of our podcast listeners, be sure to check us out so you too can interact with us directly with the show. This week, we're covering select films released in horror history from August 29th through September 4th. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Eugene, and with me tonight is Johnny O and JL.
Hey, we call it Johnny One Eye.
And good evening, everyone.
Cotton Eye Joe.
So I tell JL, like in the green room, that I had to pick out a new eyeball, and he was like, "Oh, that's funny." What's?
Because I know you're joking.
Well, yeah, it's true, but still, it's nice to know that. It's nice to know that if I have to get an eye replaced, you're like, "Oh, do they make one with the crosshairs on it, like in the movie I saw that one time?"
If you get a Last Action Hero eye, that'd be badass.
If I have to the glass eye, that's exactly what I'm doing.
You gotta get one of those, like, so you can like pull the shades off and be like, "Have a nice day."
Yeah, it's either going to be an 8-ball, or it's going to be the smiley face, or the target symbol. Yep.
Target symbol's pretty sweet, yeah.
Yep.
And you gotta get one. So that when it's on the good day, people can look at it and put messages on it. Vengeance is mine. Boom.
Boom. That's right. Do it from a fucking lose this eye. I'm gonna lose it the right way. Somebody give me a pen.
Let me show you a magic trick. fucking Demolition Man style. Have a nice day. Thanks. You too.
Yeah. Except that's not how that shit works.
So, but yeah, you've sent me way too many messages because Johnny likes
way too many messages. Like one
Johnny
time.
Will send me
that's one too many.
He'll send me admin messages like over the admin chat that we have that like intended specifically to like rile me up or be like, "Hey, this," and I'm like, and he knows I'm over here, and I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna keep my cool, but he knows I'm just like seething over here. I was like, because I got there's so much shit I have to deal with logistically wise, and he knows if I just throw this one little thing out there, JL's just gonna be like, and then and because like I won't respond, and he knows I'm trying to cool off so I can respond, correctly. So and yep. He knows, and he does it on purpose, and he's done it so many times.
One time
he's done it so many times. That I'm literally like, Johnny will say something, be like, "I don't," and my response is, "I don't believe you. I don't believe anything you say. There's no wolf over there, my friend."
I've never cried wolf a day in my life. Hi, Elizabeth.
Yes, you do it at moments at a time, but not for a whole day. Just moments at a time within.
No, I have played you like a fiddle one time.
And it stuck with him.
He's so full of shit.
I may have plucked that string. That string all day, but it was still one fiddle play.
String
Okay,
is loose. I have to retune it.
Not my fault. Your pegs aren't tight.
Oh, fuck. So, hey, let's take a look. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being in the live chat. Let's take a look. Before we dive into what we're going to talk about tonight, other than Johnny's deception, let's take a look at who's in the live chat. I see Surf is 1st and 18th because he's amazing like that. Surf, one of our amazing patrons. Good to see you. And we've got Elizabeth Sylvester's in the house. Good to see you. I hope you are feeling better. See, Clive Wells is in the house. Bringing the ghosts. Appreciate it, Clive. And Mr. Andrat. Oh, good to see you. Good to see you. And Commander Darklight, another one of our amazing patrons, will be lurking. He says, yes, Johnny Two Eyes.
That's just mean.
Elizabeth says, super excited. How are you doing? I am doing good, doing excellent. I was up super late dealing with end of the month stuff because as I constantly, I whinge about end of the month stuff with Week in Horror.
Oh, end of the month stuff.
Yeah, it's end of the month stuff always just eats up so much time and just.
So you said time of the month stuff. So that explains a lot.
Well, pretty much for the show it is. The time of the month is the end of the month for the show. So thank you, Elizabeth. I do appreciate it. Jeff Roberts in the house. Good to see you. Charlie Welch, the only man you don't make a bet with. Says, yo, Week in Horrors. That's actually on the Week in Horror / that's on the OnlyFans / Week in Horror.
Yeah,
that's where you'll get the.
We're going to be doing that show tomorrow, actually. So.
Friday at. Well, it really technically, I guess, it's Saturday because we make sure to do it at 12:01 midnight. So that's really Saturday morning, but you guys get it.
Yeah.
All right, Chris Durham Music Channel. Chris Durham says, my prediction for tonight's trivia question is Harold and Maude. I don't know how he does it. I just don't know.
I'll rewrite the question as we right now. Rewrite
it. Charlie Welch has countered, saying his trivia answer is sausage. Obviously, a reference to the state of the show. Appreciate the trivia guesses. I guess we'll find out when we get around to it. Clive Wells says typewriter. I don't know what that refers to, but Glober Mom, good to see you. She's in the house, and we got said sarcasm says wrong bat time, wrong bat channel. Is this dementia? No, unfortunately, health and tech issues precluded us from doing it yesterday. Johnny was resting up and getting to feel better, and Eugene was out there kicking ass and doing the filmmaking thing that Eugene does.
Yeah, so. Excuse me for a second. I have a bone to pick with you, Eugene.
Uh-oh.
Here I am.
Oh shit!
Got fucking staph infection in my eye.
Where's my popcorn?
My eye is rotting out of my face as we speak, and then Mr. Eugene goes and posts a clip of him cutting somebody's eyeball out in the last film he's making. Using my lenses, fucker.
You really put that evil on him, didn't you, Ricky Bobby?
You son of a bitch.
It was just one of those things. It just happened. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Hey, I've got 50 hours worth of footage. Let me get this 10 seconds where we're cutting a dude's eyeball out.
We used a real eyeball if it makes you feel better.
No.
Oh, thank you, Charlie Wells. It's the eye of the tiger if the tiger had pink eye.
But the eyeball is not pink. Actually, the eye is really healthy. It's just the eyelid.
I'm telling you, that's what we need to do. When Week in Horror gets monetized, and we can do that, then all the initial proceeds are going to go to a bidet for Johnny because apparently the toilet paper is just too complicated. So we're just gonna let him spray that thing out with a hose.
Toilet paper is not complicated.
Not have to worry
what
about
happens when it gets a hole in it.
2-ply, always 2-ply.
2-ply, yes.
That's when it has. Does it have like a 1 and then a slash above it? That's 2-ply, right?
Yeah.
One roll, 2-ply, right? That's what that means.
Yeah.
One roll, 2-ply, right?
Yeah. Leaves just aren't that tough. He's trying to save money, and he's just like,
that depends on what kind of leaves they are. If they're those ones that they have like 5 on them, and then they're kind of scratchy, but they leave you a little itchy when you're done. Telling you.
just don't do what we all do. Is like, because last night I thought I heard a Sasquatch scream, and in actuality it was just Johnny using a pine cone.
Yep. Look, I couldn't find the seashells.
Well, if you scrape off that first layer of skin, then it's clean of all the shit.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
How is this the topic that we're talking about? I swear. All right.
You brought it up, Mr. Bidet.
Okay, so we got a couple of things we want to cover before we get to the movies that we're going to talk about tonight. So first and foremost, we kind of an interesting month. We actually had the After Dark before we do the Bloodbath. Typically, we do the Bloodbath debate before we do After Dark, but not this month. We had our After Dark guys come in and do their thing and pitch their Kickstarter for their upcoming film. And but now we have to vote. We have to get the Bloodbath done. And one thing that we're going to be doing is I have a coin here, and we are going to coin flip so we can determine who will be taking on which icon that they will be defending in the upcoming Bloodbath debate. And the upcoming Bloodbath debate is Candyman versus Bloody Mary.
Ooh, tantalizing.
So urban legend, Mirrors. Mirrors got to summon the same thing. So but we got two nasty horror icons.
Alex isn't here though.
Alex isn't here. But I think because Alex has got the kid situation, and I think he's also he actually had a tooth extraction yesterday, and so he is just kind of but we only need one person to do the coin flip because we just need Johnny to call. So in essence,
we need to get a big Weekend Horror coin. Can we mint that?
We do, yeah,
we really do.
We can have one made, yeah.
That would be really cool.
So Candyman. So Eugene, Candyman, Bloody Mary is one of them heads, one of them tails.
Yeah, let's do it that way. So that way, it's not like you can kind of pick your favorite. This is like pure expertise on it.
Okay,
let's do heads. So this will go to Johnny, right? So this is the one that Johnny's going to get. Obviously, Alex will get the other one. And we'll do heads, Candyman, tails, Bloody Mary.
Okay, heads, Candyman, tails, Bloody Mary. Now, whichever. Now you can pick which one you want, Johnny, but it's not necessarily going to be the one that you want. So you ready?
Wait. What?
You're going to call heads or tails.
Doesn't matter because heads is Candyman. I'm getting whichever the coin flip goes, right?
Yeah, he's getting whichever the coin flip.
So if you flip the coin and it lands on heads, I'm taking Candyman. But if it lands on tails. Obviously, tails never fails, so I'll be getting Bloody Mary. That's gross.
Yeah. So you ready?
Yep.
All right. Flipping the coin. I know everybody likes it. You see me? I was doing so hard.
So smacking.
So it is tails.
I told you.
Bloody Mary.
Fucking hell. Sorry.
Bloody Mary.
All right, and Alex, I got to write that down, make sure I don't forget. So Alex has got Candyman.
He's got the easy one.
And you've got Bloody Mary. So Johnny O. Chris Derby is just his best 2 out of 3. I'm curious. Let us know in the live chat who you think is going to win this one. Candyman versus Bloody Mary. I'd like to know what y'all think.
No.
What?
No. You need to ask them. Johnny O versus Alex, who's going to win?
That's a different question. I want to know who they think. I want to know who they think which horror.
No, I get it. I know. I'm just being silly.
Okay, so let us know in the live chat who you think is going to win the next Bloodbath debate: Bloody Mary or Candyman. Who's going to take that one? Because Candyman's got, I think, 3 films to look through, but there's a smattering of Bloody Mary films out there. And there's kind of like a villains wiki that you can kind of look into that as well, not to mention the urban legend itself. So, but yeah, I'm kind of curious what the live audience thinks. And second thing coming up, now that we have that decided,
wait, real quick also. And then if you want to actually listen to the debate, don't forget to subscribe to our Patreon. And that way you can actually hear them duke it out mano y mano and find out who the winner will be.
Find out how bad Johnny O beats Alex is what you meant to say. I get it.
You get early. Our patrons have early access, and all of it is described in the Patreon tier. You get early access to the Bloodbath and to our After Dark sessions with our special industry guests.
Lots of cool stuff for the patron people. So, and JL just lost a quarter.
Yes, he did.
It's a lucky quarter. You should put it in your pocket. Don't put it in your pocket. Then it'll touch the other quarters and just become a quarter.
Just become another coin.
Which is what it is.
It worked all this way to get here for this moment.
Call it.
Yeah, sugar is crazy. Anton Sugar is crazy.
I still think he's I forget what his name was. Josh Brolin's character. I like that theory. I think it's a good, solid theory.
Possible that he would.
I think it's solid because if you go back and actually listen to that theory, that's a total tangent.
I did go back and listen to that theory, and
solid.
There's a couple of things that stand in the way. There's a couple of points. If you take it as true, there's a couple of points in the movie that don't make sense because Llewellyn ends up in possession of knowledge that he can't have unless he's in two places at the exact same time. And it's just the overlap of their stories. There's just no way he can.
Oh yeah, what knowledge would that be?
Where was it? It centered around Woody Harrelson's character and the interaction between the two of them. And Shagur had knowledge of where Harrelson would be when he went to go kill him, but Llewellyn was not in possession of that unless he was at the same. Oh no, he wouldn't have possession of that unless he was there. I mean, if he was there, but unfortunately, Llewellyn was overdoing something else, was dealing with something else at the exact same time, which is why Llewellyn also had knowledge of where the bag was off the bridge, but Shagur did not.
Again, we have to think, you have to bring in the unreliable narrator portion into this. That's an important part of the story because of the way that theory works. I think it's a solid theory if you look at it outside of everything you see on the screen as factual. You know what I mean?
Next on the episode of Modern Western.
Yeah,
that's true.
No country for old men.
I think somebody could also say that the whole fucking thing was literally a dream that Tommy Lee Jones had.
And that's those two can coincide with each other, which would be really cool, right?
Like
because
Tommy
then
Lee
again,
Jones.
If it is Tommy Lee Jones's dream, and according to Freud, we are everyone in our dreams, that just kind of solidifies that those two are the same character.
Yeah. And him trying to figure out, him just dealing with the fact that he can't cope with the fact that the world has moved on and his style of policing and law enforcement is going away. Hey, Kevin,
exactly.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Tony Regime is in the house too. Says, didn't Sammy Davis Jr. sing about the Candyman as well? I think it was a different Candyman.
He did. He did sing about the Candyman, but everybody wanted to see that Candyman.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, it did.
All right. So the next thing that I wanted to bring up before we dive in was, so I was watching, because I've been catching up on some stuff, on some shows. My wife has been watching some stuff and caught that show Billions with Damian Lewis and Paul Giamatti. It's a fantastic show. Not a horror show, but more of a thriller drama. And just a really, really great acting across the board. But I caught a commercial for a show coming up on Epix that called Chapelwaite. And if you guys I wanted you guys to did you guys get a chance to see the trailer for that? Adrian Brody.
I did.
So Chapelwaite.
I haven't been seeing much of anything this past couple of days. Fucking asshole.
You have a it's just an eye. The gods saw fit to grace you with a spare.
Yeah, well, that one. Look at these fucking things.
No, it's just an eye.
It's just an eye.
So
no, I didn't get an opportunity. I've been busy with work and going to doctors and whatnot. So tell us all about JL. I want to hear it. I really do.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. I wanted to get your guys' take on it because one, it looks fantastic. Stars Adrian Brody, and it's a series that is all right. I can't tell if it's a mini series or a limited series, but it is based.
Adrian Brody was blessed with an extra schnoz too.
Hey, dude, the Brody works. Okay, the Brody.
Look, it works for him. I'm telling you,
the
guy's
Brody
cool.
plays. The Brody plays.
The Brody plays.
But yeah, it's based off of Stephen King's Salem's Lot, and I'm really curious because this is another one of those adaptations that's coming along that we're billing to see, that are picking up steam. We're seeing more and more of these Stephen King adaptations come along. That
I'm telling you, it's like
really
the 80s all over again.
They crack the formula. That's what happens. When you think of like superhero movies, you have good one here and there that will come out, but most of them were duds until you
Marvel.
until Marvel Iron Man cracked the formula.
Yeah.
Until Kevin Feige and John
Favreau
and Favreau.
I still think what made that movie was Robert Downey Jr. Because his personality.
Favreau is close with Downey.
Yeah, right. No, Favreau was like, "Hey, dude, look, I want you to come in and be you because you are Tony Stark. You read Tony Stark in the comic books. You look at Robert Downey Jr. Nobody can play that role. Nobody else can play that role.
Oh, no one could have done better.
No.
But going back with Stephen King, I think we finally started cracking that formula. And once you crack it, then they're just going to steamroll out.
So you've had a whole bunch of really good Stephen King adaptations in the past, I guess, 10 years. We're talking about Gerald's Game. We're talking about It. We're talking about Castle Rock, which again it's an adaptation, but it's a series. The 11/22, The Stand. I haven't seen The Stand yet. I still haven't seen it.
Good. The Stand's really good.
I know. I hear it's really good. I hear it's so much better than the original, but that's not really saying much. But yeah, so people, like I said, these recent Stephen King adaptations have been good. I mean, forget the remake of whatchamacallit.
Yeah, not the remake of like Pet Sematary.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, fuck that shit. But you go look at the originals again. Gerald's Game. I think that's kind of where it started.
Yeah,
I'd actually have to agree with that. Yeah, because I think you get solid actors attached with Carla Gugino, absolutely amazing actress. Bruce Greenwood, fantastic. Yeah. And you show that when you approach the source material with some honesty and some real love. Yep. And the actors themselves believe in what they're doing. Now knock out the screenplay, but I think that's been the biggest issue is adapting it, is the screenplay in and of itself, because people try to get the screenplay across, and it's not. There's going to be some loss there from the book, but you get a really talented screenwriter who can adapt it and make it play to the screen. Holy shit! Then you get everybody attached to if everybody believes it, then you get stuff like Gerald's Game, 1922.
11/22/63.
No.
The one with Thomas Jane.
The Thomas Jane.
Yeah.
And so you get some really fantastic performances, and people finally get to flex their wings under the Stephen King banner, which I think is what that really needed.
You got to look at it though. There have been some really good Stephen King adaptations in the past. If you look at Shawshank Redemption, you look at The Green Mile, and you look at even The Mist. A lot of people don't like the way The Mist ended, but regardless, I think Frank Darabont kind of cracked that Stephen King adaptation code way back when. It's just he's an asshole to work with if you're a studio executive. I mean, honestly, if you're an actor, you want Frank Darabont on your team. If you're a studio exec, fuck that guy.
Well, it's going back to superheroes. I think Frank Darabont would just be like Christopher Nolan. Like Christopher Nolan did 3 great Batman movies, but it's kind of like it's too much his style.
Right.
It's not a formula that could be replicated again and again and again. And I think Frank Darabont's the same. I think Shawshank Redemption is the best Stephen King adaptation, but you can't replicate that. He has his. He can do it. He can do it several times, but no one else can.
Right.
Gotcha. Well, I'm really curious about this one. It's dark. It's brooding. I'm super looking forward to it. I think. Just from the trailer itself, it looks like it's going to be great. The Salem's Lot stuff hasn't been really touched in a while, but I'm really interested in seeing if there's going to be any subtle links to his other works, like subtle links to the Dark Tower series, or some other things. Like little references for those who are really, really big fans. So I'm looking forward to it. The trailer is up on YouTube, and of course that show will be on Epix, which I'm not sure what their subscription service is like or anything, but yeah. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be solid. It's interesting to see some, other places, not just like HBO, Showtime, Netflix jumping into that, or even Amazon jumping into that. But now we've got like Epix jumping into it, and pretty soon I think Stars is going to be jumping into that field as well. So I'm really, of course, then Blumhouse with their stuff. It's going to be really, really interesting. I think it's going to be a good. I think 2022 is going to be a good year for horror films, and we're going to need them because, 2022.
All the source material.
Yeah. All right. Well, interesting stuff on the horizon to be sure.
Speaking of horror films.
Speaking of horror films, Johnny, what do we got first?
This is fucking Ace Ventura, that car in that parking space.
Like a glove.
Like a glove.
more like when he tried to take the turn too hard and ended up rolling the cart like 9 times. Boom!
He kept going.
Oh, geez. You can't say we don't have fun on this show. That's all I'm saying. All right. So what do we have up first? We've got Arachnophobia remake, sort of, except in Arachnophobia, we actually gave a shit about the characters. I'm ahead of myself. In 2019, we had a film called Itsy Bitsy. It's an American horror film directed by Micah Gallo. Nobody? All right. Starring Bruce Davidson, Elizabeth Roberts, Armand Darbo, and Chloe Perrin. Featuring Denise Crosby, Elaine Dietz, and Maddie Quadruple. Centers on a family who moves into an old, secluded mansion where they are stalked by an ancient entity that takes the form of a giant spider. Why have I not heard this story before? It feels like we were just talking about Stephen King adaptations. Basically, you get a live-in nurse who's going to go move in with Bruce Davis's character. She's there to take care of him, help him out, because he's an old guy who's losing his mind, much like his real life. Anyway, so she's there. Little kids start seeing spiders. Big spider comes, and as Eugene likes to say, shit gets real.
Yes, it definitely gets super, super lopsided. I mean
yeah.
It's funky in this one. Hey, Skooma Cat, good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. That was the big thing about this. Is I was so torn about it. Now, the story in itself is pretty simple. I mean, like ancient, Bruce Davidson is your collector of like ancient artifacts and oddities around the world, and kind of a tomb hunter, grave robber kind of guy. That's how he's made his fortune. And so all around his house, he's just all like sort of collecting shit, probably stuff that he stole from, native tribes, things that he probably should not have. And then in turn, one of the things he has is like this egg. It's like this, this is supposed to be representative of like the spider god of this tribe. And as it turns out, it actually is an egg and actually houses like the incarnation of this spider. It's a big ass fucking spider. It's mean as shit.
Yeah.
It's gross and it's an absolute badass. But the problem was, and the spider. This is one thing about it is like it's kind of like Arachnophobia. One of the things that made Arachnophobia great is the spiders looked fantastic.
They were real.
Good.
With the exception of the end spider, that was a puppet, but. All the other spiders. My hand on the screen.
Typically, you don't. When you set the spider on fire, it doesn't just like run at you and scream like, take it with me.
Yeah. Well, I never understood that. Why do they have to give spider? I get it, like in 8-Legged Freaks, okay, because it was funny. I got it right. It's a comedy, cool, that's fine. But Anaconda, fucking Arachnophobia. Why do we have screaming spiders and screaming snakes? It doesn't fucking make sense.
And while that would look good, and I've seen other ones, and of course, like the movie Big Ass Spider, one of Mike Mendez's, I think probably Mike Mendez's best film ever.
Love it.
You get good looking spiders. They focus on it. That's the same in this one. The spider looked fantastic, whether it was puppetry or it was CGI. It was seamless. The lighting worked to its effect, atmospheric, moody, exactly what you'd expect in the story kind of story we're telling. And the plot itself was decent. I can follow that. Ancient antiquity turns out to be an actual egg with this ancient monster inside. Monster pops out, besieges everybody, and then they have to fight it and overcome. The problem was I didn't give a shit because I didn't care if any one of these people lived or died in this fucking movie. Bruce Davison is an asshole. Story. Bruce Davison is an asshole. Everybody he knows is assholes. The mom is a drug addict who took the job so she could siphon off his medication because that's what she is, because she's desperate. So she takes this job because she actually is an RN. But she takes it and then she's like, so you're wondering if she's stealing his fucking meds, whatever like that. So her character is damaged. The kid is an idiot. And I'm kind of like, I don't, and I'm sitting there watching. I was like, this is, it's like a beautiful stage, beautiful setup. All this level of work went into it. And then they just, just people, the actors came in and said, and they looked at this thing. I was like, yep, this is a paycheck. I don't care. Let's not play let's not, I couldn't even value Bruce Davison for the level of his expertise. Like you could say, like he's purely he's cold because he's an intellectual, because he's interested in history and antiquity, and this is where his mind is, and we can see this. And when he starts talking about these things, you can see the love in him kind of build up. It's like, no, it wasn't like that. No. It was something he lorded over people.
Yeah,
and I know that doesn't make you want to like it. It just makes him that's not Indy. That's Belloc.
Makes you root for it makes you root for the spider.
Makes you root for the spider.
It makes you root for the spider.
It's like just because he deserves it. He stole it. He stole it. He took it from the people who treated it with respect. Then he lords it over everybody. He's like, I'm not going to put it in a museum. I'm going to keep it in my house because I'm just like totems to myself and my awesomeness. Then when people ask me about it or ask me about shit, I'm gonna be like, I'm so fucking much better. You don't fucking understand it. You don't know. I couldn't wait for him to die. I knew it was going to happen. I couldn't wait for him to die. And it wasn't until like the very, very end when they kind of put it out there. It's kind of like, the mom is just selfish. It's just the way she is. When she kind of like fights, she's like, I got to save my child. There's a little bit of, dude, let's throw a little character redemption in there. But fuck, dude, if we don't care about your goddamn characters, what's the fucking point?
No, because then it becomes a slasher film.
Really?
Yeah, because it's not shot like a slasher film. It's very high contrasty and it's very cinematic looking on it.
It looks good.
Yeah,
I was impressed. I was like, wow. I was expecting Itsy Bitsy, spider, thing. I was expecting, what to expect. You're kind of like, I'm gonna.
You're expecting Asylum Pictures.
Yeah, I don't have great expectations, but I'm sitting there watching. I was like, wow. This is not bad. Camera guy, the cinematographer knows what they're doing. DP is on point. The lighting is solid. The mood, the atmosphere, everything lends itself to this story, which I think is very serviceable for a monster movie, which is what this is supposed to be. But no, we're gonna forget. It's gonna be 50-50. It's gonna be monster film and a whole bunch of characters that we're just gonna count until they get croaked. And maybe the mom will have a redemptive moment that makes you say, okay, the spider didn't get her. That whole kind of thing.
Yeah, but, okay. I feel like that's such a cliche redeeming moment for moms when it's like, I do love my kid. Let me try to go save them.
Yeah,
I'm gonna fight for my child. Well, you should. The minute the kid knew something was up, you probably should have been doing that for the
I gotta say, I am kind of that trope is almost as old as like the stupid cop trope in horror film.
Yeah.
Like the kids, there's something going on. Oh, what do you know? You're just dumb kids. Oh, there really is shit going on. Oh my god,
he dies.
Come on, man.
That was the whole thing in the Friday the 13th. I mean, it was a classic deal. The one cop that shows up in the Friday the 13th remake in the 2009 one, the one cop who shows up first, he dismisses the protagonist. What are you doing out here? You don't belong out here. We've looked for her. It's done. Get out of here. Go look somewhere else. We're getting tired of seeing you around here. You're causing trouble. Then they get the call. Hey, there's a fucking killer outside. Please come help us. Okay. So he rolls up, no backup, gets out of the car. Gun's not drawn, looking around, walks up, knocks on the door, gets smoked. It's like, that's what you get.
What you get.
Yeah. On that. I want to see like a smart one that stays away from all those like cliches. Like I want to see in a horror film where the little girl's like, something's actually going on here, and the parents are like, okay, well let's go ahead and get out of here real quick and let's go get a hotel room or something.
Yeah.
Let's actually legit investigate and take this seriously.
You want to see parents who will learn from the situation. You want to see Poltergeist.
Yes,
because the whole beautiful moment of Poltergeist is we went through all of this shit. We got Carol Ann back. Everything's good. We're getting out of the fucking house. We go to a hotel. And what's the last thing you see in that movie?
Yeah, get rid of the television.
They pitch the television out of the fucking room.
Yeah.
That's what you want to see. I want to see, like in the movie Dolly Dearest, Now, when I bring this up because it was somewhat similar, but in the sense that there was a monster, it was targeting the child, and invariably it's about this, like this demonic entity that's trying to like take over the child or whatever, using the doll as a kind of go-between. And so Dolly Dearest was about a possessed doll that was killing like this, and the parents and the kid is not acting right. And the mother knows it. The dad's distracted, and so it's the typical cliche. The mom knows what's going on, but there's conflict between her and the husband.
Right.
But ultimately, when the dad sees what he needs to see, boom, he's a dad, and they're making choices again. So that was smart. The reason Dolly Dearest had a happy ending was because the parents were smart, because they made smart decisions, because they did the poltergeist thing. They figured it out, and just. They weren't, we don't have characters that are consumed with their own ego or their own bullshit, and then we're using that to drive the plot.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, that's what got in the way of this one. What could have been a really fun movie, just a good, monster romp, turned into a spider slasher film. So,
where this whole thing lost me was it's the reliance on the cliche, right? Like, so the whole trailer, Itsy Bitsy Spider. Oh, we're gonna do the child lullaby thing, but we're gonna make it all, fucking demonic and whatnot. It's like, fuck, come on, man. Okay, it's supposed to be scary. We get it. We're gonna sing Itsy Bitsy Spider in a scary way. Ooh, I'm so scared.
I mean, the thing is, it's like you're right in terms of like the writing, because it's easier to write stupid characters. Because you can they're stupid, so they can go this and again, instead of going like, okay, they believe them, they're intelligent, how would they interact? Because you still have to have the character, you have to have bad things happen to the character, because if you write smart characters to begin with, then you have to have a bad guy that's smart, bad guy that has to, so it has to elevate all of the writing, instead of just three of my friends are dead, but we're still going to stay in the woods anyway. Just hope for the best.
Right. Why are we staying in the woods?
It's a very good point.
Hey, I think we should go hide behind all those chainsaws and sickles. Why don't we just get in the running car? Yeah.
Oh God! It always
the greatest commercial. The greatest
commercial. The cabin in the woods. The gas in the face. Wait a minute. We should all split up.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Don't split up. Y'all should split up.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, that's the only way. That's the only redeeming quality about Cabin in the Woods, is that it's supposed to be a big tongue in cheek about the genre.
Well, in particular, this one
for this movie, this specific movie,
lopsided. Well, I mean, that's it. Well, I mean, that's when the film is not focused, or when it's just a lazy, cheap, screenplay.
Yep.
That's all it is. This is lazy writing. This is legitimately, I mean, that results in lopsided filmmaking. When you have everything on one side from a technical perspective, from everything on this side, and then the director can look at the script and says, "Wow, these characters are not really written very likable. No one's really going to care if they go or not."
Right.
Let's see if we can have the actors work with it, or maybe even do just tiny little adjustments. Choose certain words. Do certain things. Have the actor make choices that justify us caring about whether or not they're going to live or die.
Right.
And don't. I mean, yeah. They say that they tell actors that we're slaves to the script. Okay, that's what we are. That we're slaves to the script. We can have fun sometimes. We can ad lib. We can do whatever, but we're slaves to it. This is the scene. This is the moment. This is what we're shooting for. This is what emotion is called for. These are the emotions that are not called for. Play within that realm, but the realm is very small. Okay, you can have fun with it, but remember, even when you're having fun, you're still blowing takes. So you've got to mitigate it, and you just stick to the script. But directors, while they're using the script to guide, directors have to have the vision to be able to step outside of it and realize this is what it's going to look like on screen, because sometimes writers can't visualize that. They can't say it's like adapting from a book to a screenplay. Sometimes you just can't get from the novel to you say, I see the novel, I'm adapting this. But the way I view somebody reading a book is not the way people watch the screen, and not the way things come across from the screen. So sometimes writers have a problem, and it's up to the director to be able to bridge that gap and be like, I see what he's going here. Let's do this. So, because from the screenplay to the screen itself, sometimes we've got to tweak a little bit, but that takes bravery and risk on behalf of the director. He's got to be willing to stand up and explain these things. And if the director's just like, it's just a fucking paycheck, then we get movies like this where we get good, solid opportunities that just fall flat because no one was willing to go out on a limb, which is what this industry demands, but unfortunately often rejects.
Well, see, this is one of the big issues is if this falls squarely on the director because all the other department heads did their job. The DP made it look pretty. The production design of the house was fantastic, right? The editing was what they had to go with. There was nothing bad editing wise. It seemed like a normal thing, but it came down to the writing and the direction of the overall story of it.
You know, I feel like this whole thing could have been fixed with one different writing choice. Instead of the mother taking the job so she can steal the pills, she should be taking the job so she could get as like part of her recovery. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would have been better if she was an addict.
Yeah,
trying to recover. Then likable right off that because we like to watch people better themselves.
Right,
because
and
she's fighting, and and even if you put in those moments where you reinforce she's still an addict and she sees the opportunity and then she doesn't do it.
Right.
You know, so where she can be like, fuck, because she knew she was going to run into these moments, and then of
exactly
course, with the stress of the monster on the loose, and and all these things going crazy, she may be driven to this, but then we see her overcome that, and then in her weakest moment, when she's poisoned by the spider, and she's lying there, and she's like almost paralyzed, can she fight through it to get to her kid? Which eventually, inevitably, she does. Just in this particular one in Itsy Bitsy, it was just a little too late.
Yeah, because we didn't care for it. We didn't believe her arc. We didn't believe the dynamic between anybody. I mean, it was, you got Bruce Davis. I'm a jackass. Okay, cool. You're dead. Yeah. Why should we care about you? We don't. You're dead. Yeah. Cool. Next. Oh, little girl gets. Oh, you're dead. Next. Just come on. Just kill them all and get done with it. Yeah, my goodness.
Even Denise Crosby in this, and I love seeing Denise show up because Denise is a magnificent actress. I've loved her since her early days. Loved obviously TNG. Loved her in that work. But you could tell just casting Denise Crosby. She had an opening in her schedule. It's a paycheck.
Right.
She doesn't have to do much work, and she's not the focus of the movie, so we can bring her in to give it a little bit of horror credit.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which I'm still on the fence about doing that. I'm still on the fence of movies casting icons just to give them some horror credibility.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's just probably honestly like the direction. If I don't believe the director understood characterization very well and probably didn't know how to direct the actors.
Yeah,
so
okay.
You bring him in because I would love to work with any kind of a horror icon.
Yeah.
In any way possibility, but sometimes you have to give them something to work with.
That could
if I'm sitting down to dinner and Bruce Campbell is sitting next to me and I say, "Hey Bruce, you want to come be in this remake film they're doing called Nail Gun?" and he says yes, I'm slapping your both peckers if you say no, we're not doing that.
Okay, come on. But this all could be evidence. What Eugene was talking about, evidence by the fact that if you're on the Wikipedia article about this movie and you click on his name, Micah Gallo, it redirects back to the movie itself.
Yep.
So there's no page on him. So I'm thinking it doesn't say it was his directorial debut, but
it was his directorial debut.
He did. It was his story. It was his story. He did co-write it. And probably with a screenplay, and then he did direct it. So this may have been one of those little horror films that comes along. It's like, hey, we got this little horror film script. We can do this with it. It's not really going to cost us that much. We can do it to kind of pad, the release schedule. So at least we have something out there. So we're turning out regular product. So, and that's just the nature of the business. Yeah. I just wish sometimes. At times it wasn't treated like it was just, it's just the nature of the business. I wish it was more like if a movie's going to come out and you're going to put that much money into it, at least, come on, show a little love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Shit. Let me pull up this here screen. Now that we've had our fun with this film, I would like to ask the audience a question. And obviously, this has to be the obvious question we're going to ask. What is your favorite spider horror film? There's lots to choose from. So make sure you pick a good one and let us know why at the weekinhorror at gmail.com or in the comment section or in side chat, all that fun stuff.
Make sure you pick a good one, not your favorite, pick a good one.
Not your favorite, yeah, because we don't care about your favorite. I'm kidding.
For our podcast listeners who are not watching this live, Johnny has a visitor on his screen, and it is, I think, the littlest.
The littlest who's having a popsicle. And then there's a dog over here trying to dig his way to China.
She's proud.
Can you hear that? Can you hear Link over there trying to dig through the couch?
I do.
Silly animal.
Oh, we got NA's in the house, and like I said, we have some people go saying, let me see here.
Charlotte's Web. Yep.
Charlotte's Web. Spider-Man. NA says Spider-Man. Well, which one? Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, honestly, if you were to say, I would say Amazing Spider-Man because not a great movie. The Maguire, the Raimi Spider-Man, good one except for Spider-Man 3. That one was not great. Yeah. But I love Tom Holland is the new Spider-Man for me. You see, Commander Darklight says 8-legged freaks. Hell yes. And Tony Regime says not a spider horror, but my favorite is the scene from The Incredible Shrinking Man where he fights a spider. Good classic stuff. Yeah. Good classic stuff. Nice.
How about what was it? What was the one? Was that the one with what's his name? Oh God, forget I spoke. I can't remember his name right now.
All right,
Gyllenhaal, Jake Gyllenhaal. That's his name. No, okay.
In
the
Incredible Shrinking Man.
No, I'm thinking the other one where he shows up and then he goes to his room and there's a giant spider on the wall. It's like this weird random jump scare in a drama movie.
Oh, I don't even know.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
I'm gonna look this up.
Okay, you look that up.
Don't you give me that. Don't you give me that condescension.
I will give myself my own cue.
Yeah, what do we have up next?
Johnny dropped QO.
Your mom goes to college.
Anywho, so let's move on to our second one. Our next film tonight released August 31st, 2001, and it's the film Jeepers Creepers. All right, so Jeepers Creepers. I actually really did. This is one of my favorite horror monsters. Again, with a good horror icon there. Let's see, Jeepers Creepers released. Dang it, let me say it again. August 31st, 2001. Directed by Victor Salvo, starring Gina Phillips, Justin Long, Jonathan Breck, and Eileen Brennan. How to break this down? So, for those who've probably seen it, for those who have not seen it, the film is about a brother and sister traveling across country and run afoul of a body parts devouring demon that chases them across the countryside looking to, I guess, satisfy its need to feed. Massive legend behind the creature. Fantastic, just, a brand new horror icon hit the screen, portrayed by, masterfully by Jonathan Breck, who, I got to throw out there. I thought it was really interesting. Well, I remember when I was looking at this movie the first time, Jonathan Breck's audition tape. So you and this was curious. This was kind of curious. You talk about who's going to get cast as like the villain. As like a villain. You got Freddy Krueger. Robert Englund went in, and it was his panache and his energy and his wittiness that got him the role of Freddy Krueger. His ability just to pop one-liners really, really fast in reaction to things, and his just general comedic timing is what got him, not to mention the fact that he's small and thin, but he had a way of moving, his physicality, which belied an intensity and a strength that you wouldn't expect. He was small, but he was wiry. And, he kind of like moved in a way that was very intimidating, which is what got him, Freddy Krueger. With Jonathan Breck, and this was weird. If you watch the video, you can actually go on YouTube and find his audition tape to be the creeper. He came into the audition room, like they called him in and he started from outside and he came in and like moving like the creeper does. And he went up and he was like looking around and doing the smell thing. And then he grabbed one of the auditors and started doing like that at them. And then like looking like that. And that whole physical, and that's what got him the role. They just wanted to see like the body and he encompassed it. And so, but the balls on that to like just stride into the audition room and just start grabbing people. It's like, fuck professionalism. We're going full bore with this. Like, you want a monster? I'm going to give you a fucking monster. So
they already had a monster.
I dug that. I dug that. Not to mention, I'm a huge fan of Justin Long, huge fan of Gina Phillips. It's a fun ass movie and a great new horror icon that we got out of the creeper itself. Great design, and I loved one thing I dug what they did was basically the transitional. It's like a transitional monster. It starts out as the truck, then it's the person, where it's the guy standing there, got the hat, like it looks like a guy, and then it slowly devolves until straight up it's a fucking demon, wings, shit coming out of its head towards the end. But that it like the monster itself all changes throughout the scope of the movie as more and more of it is revealed. And I loved how it was kind of like taking away skins to eventually you get to the heart of the thing that you're dealing with. What's going on, Omni Horror Sports? Says I have a monster in my pants. Commander Darkley asks, was the license plate beating you or be eating you? And it was be eating you. Was his personalized license plate was be eating you.
This is one of the things that
he had to register his vehicle. You had to make sure everything was legal.
No. Nope. I am not going to be the negative Nancy on this one. You guys enjoyed this movie.
And one thing, that's
fucking hate this piece of shit. But
I mean, I thought this was when you're trying to create a horror icon, and you look at what goes into making a horror icon. Like and I want to look at these because there's been several movies that try to introduce someone that like a new big bad. Someone to like this eventually going to be the next Freddy or the next Jason, the next Michael Myers, something of that nature, like the next Leatherface. We have these icons in our heads. And then we have the kind of contenders where they pop up and they try to really be something. So like the Collector, like the Creeper would be up there in there, just like where they get a franchise and we really try to push them because we know the Collector is going to get a third film. It's coming out, I think, later this year or early 2022. So I'm really, really curious as just that what separates it, what makes a Jason or a Freddy, and separates it from all the contenders. So like Pinhead. I mean, it's simplistic. Pinhead showed up very similar like that. It's just kind of a function of it, and the story is really Kirsty Cotton's story. That was her story in Hellraiser, and Pinhead and the Cenobites were literally almost tertiary because it was Kirsty.
15 minutes, I think.
Yeah, it was Kirsty Cotton's story. And then it was Kirsty Cotton's story. Then it was Frank's story. And then it was the Cenobites after that.
Right.
And so in this one, you've really got the relationship between Derry and his sister, Derry and Trish. You have the relationship of them is literally the forefront of the entire movie. The dynamic between these two and the dynamic between them and everybody else. And so you've got their story. You've got everyone in the town story, the people that they run into, the witnesses that they talk to, how they deal with the cops themselves. And then you have the creeper behind it because not a lot of backstory was given to this thing. And while it does have this big ass climax at the end, it's very similar to Hellraiser. The formula seems very similar to me where we have brushes with this thing, but it's really all about these characters. And then later on, it becomes more and more about the monster itself, just like in Friday the 13th. Just like, it becomes more and more about Jason and less about the people that are at the camp.
You go ahead, Eugene. I don't have anything positive to say about this movie.
So the one thing when it comes with creating horror icons, first of all, you have to be able to get multiple movies. And we're at a point now where you have to be more creative. We already have like the slasher, the chainsaw, the machete, the knife, all this other kind of stuff. So it has to have some kind of additional element, because when you look at, say, one of the newer ones like Ghostface, the thing of Ghostface is more of the twist. Who is it actually?
Ghostface. How the hell did I based on Ghostface? Exactly.
It's like who is it gonna be this time? So it still is like the little murder mystery element. When you take something like Jigsaw has the you take life for granted. It's a game that if you just had just an old man just going around killing people, it just wouldn't really be like that big. But you look at the traps, how brutal can the traps be? And I'm not saying all the Saw films are good, because there are a lot of them.
The only one that is good is the first one.
I like the second one, but I like the second one.
I gotta say, as soon as Shawnee Smith showed up, I was like, "Oh, bad guy."
No, yeah, it's still fun to watch. You know the endings of films. It's all about how to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe, because that's part of my problem with Jeepers Creepers is that you know how it's going to end. You know that Justin Long is going to be, he's going to sacrifice himself to save his sister and all that shit. And I just don't care. I just don't care, because I'm hung up on the fact that they should never have been in the fucking situation to begin with, because only idiots say, hey, look, there's a guy in the middle of nowhere and it looks like he's dumping bodies in a giant hole. Let's go get in that hole.
Yeah, that was
I think all of us.
Yes. That was the
motherfucker, you deserve to die.
The sister has a line. The sister has a line. You know that moment in scary movies when people do something really stupid and everybody else hates them for it? This is it.
Yeah.
And pretty much, yeah. It's like,
yeah.
When
did a demon learn how to drive? And when did a demon have time to get a personalized license plate when he wasn't eating people's faces? It's so stupid. It's just so stupid.
No,
you can't totally believe a demon can drive. He's been around for forever.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
cool.
He's been around for thousands of years. He
come
can make
on.
his own plate. Obviously, the thing wasn't pressed at the local penitentiary, man.
It's just so stupid.
Well, I mean,
next he's going to have a driver's license. No, I'm sorry. He's going to have I'm not driving. I'm traveling. Fucking hell.
It's
going to be a soft sit.
So, but I'm curious about this, because now I think the creeper, I think it is a horror icon. It lands up there with like Jigsaw, the Collector.
Does he though?
I think so, because
why? He only has 3 movies.
It has 3 movies, but we're going to get more. And the question
are we? It's been that's true. They're
is going to be
it,
more of them. So but the whole point is that I think it hits that B level, that B roster. I don't think it squares in the A. I mean, it's not Jason, it's not Freddy, it's not Michael, Leatherface, Ghostface.
Bad euphemisms.
It's not hit. Well, I was like A tier.
Squaring in the A. Guy's got balls.
It's not an A tier. It's not a B. It's more a B tier villain. And unless
upper C, lower B, like a B minus.
Yeah, I can say B minus. It's a B minus villain. Yeah, it's up there. It has it's a bad guy with a unique gimmick that really that takes what works from other places. Like Logical Hillbilly. Hey, Logical Hillbilly, good to see you. And I also, Omni Ouroboros and Frank being Frank and Beaver C. Welcome to the show. Glad you guys stopped in. But yeah, he's like, he stole that plate from Jeffrey Dahmer. And it's that concept of being eaten alive. That's a scary concept. Mm-hmm. And so it works for it. Okay, I put him up there with Leprechaun. Omni Ouroboros says we need more Leprechaun movies. We have you
got to be careful what you wish for, because we got more Leprechaun movies.
This is true.
Warwick Davis.
We need more Warwick Davis Leprechaun movies.
Yes, we have to be specific.
And I put Leprechaun in that B tier. Whether you want to say it's B minus or B plus, because Warwick Davis is super talented, he's excellent. When it takes it, what made Jason really fantastic was the work of 2 particular actors. Was the work of C.J. Graham and Kane Hodder. Because every time, I credit the both of them. Kane Hodder obviously had 4 movies. I think I still say he gave Jason his voice. CJ Graham also did really fantastic work, because CJ, if you go back and watch 6, CJ knows how to play to the camera, knows how if a shot is going to be framed, knows how to work within the limitations of the frame. He maximized the opportunities he had, and he made Jason fucking scary. I mean, come on. For all I love Kane Hodder and his sleeping bag kills and all the cool fun stuff he did, fighting the telekinetic and everything, that's fun. CJ stood on top of the burning RV like, I'm going to fucking kill everybody. He gave us that moment. And so, yeah, I think it's moments like that that make it fantastic, that really designate a horror icon. And so, and I think, unlike some, like Chrome Skull doesn't have moments like that. It's kind of like it's one note. Oh, you wear a mask and you have a camera and you kill people for whatever like that, and it's gruesome and gory. But what have you got? It's not like The Collector. But The Collector's, it's not just about traps. He's got the whole spider thing going on. He thinks he's an insect. He thinks he's a spider himself. The Creeper had that thing. The fact that it's this monster, wings, scaly deals, fucking shit coming out of its head, and back at eating people and shit and replacing his body parts. But then after you've done all this, you get out of the car and stroll while whistling the tune that you like, do like this. It adds that little kind of thing. He's got a sadistic. He's not just an animal or a monster. He's got that kind of human side to him, which makes him even scarier. And so he's got that thing that elevates him to B status, not A level, but we will see because we are getting more movies. And that's another thing I want to dive into real quick was new hands, new minds, because the entire franchise has been taken over by someone else. So it's new people completely behind this. Jonathan Breck will be returning to play the Creeper. That guy will always be the Creeper. I think he's amazing as the character, and he loves playing it. Might as well keep him in it. But total new direction. I don't even think there's going to be a continuation of the story of the original trilogy, where they were going to like the Creeper's backstory and how to defeat it and all that other shit. So I don't think we're going to get that. I think we're just going to go a whole new, like a reboot, like a straight up reboot of the franchise.
And that's actually kind of interesting. I'm really excited to see where they're going to go with it. I'm glad it's going to separate itself from the original trilogy. Just like let the trilogy be what it is. But I believe the Creeper itself is a strong enough villain that I'd like to see more.
No, don't want. I don't care about this movie. I don't care about this franchise.
He's like, fuck off.
I want the Jeepers Creepers to go away. Go to the bargain bin where it belongs. But that's just me. Did you check the chat, Bill?
I did. I'm looking at this. So this is odd. So I want to thank you, Stevie B, for the $10 for the £10 super chat. That's odd. I don't know how we could take super chats on this.
On your personal channel.
It's to my personal channel. It's to JL Warren channel, to my personal channel. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I wasn't expecting that because I could have sworn that I created this under the Week in Horror.
No, it's broadcast to your personal channel.
I did it via StreamYard.
Uh-huh.
And I chose Week in Horror when I did it.
No.
Yes, I did.
I'm looking at it right now and it says JL Warren.
Holy shit. Damn, I done fucked up. Oh, fuck. As Christopher Lee said when Peter Cushing said, a silver bullet. Oh, fuck. I do appreciate it. Thank you, Stevie B. That's wild. I guess.
Yeah, I was watching the comments in StreamYard and I saw the symbols for memberships. Like, wow, when the fuck did Week in Horror become monetized?
Yeah,
and I looked at because I've got both StreamYard and YouTube up, and I said, "Oh, it's on JL's channel." That's why.
I could have fucking. That's why the announcement. That's why the announcement didn't go to the damn Discord.
Yep.
Son of a bitch. I'm a fucking idiot. Okay. Wow. Okay, I guess we're gonna have to fix that. Just waiting. I'm gonna have to re-upload this to the Week in Horror side.
Yep.
Damn it. Oh, fucking okay. That's my bad. My bad. JL's bad. God damn it. The two things are right next to each other. Why did I just...
And I'm the one with a bad eye.
Anywho, well, I do appreciate it. Yes, Beaver C, good one. Me, fucking fantastic. So, for a second, I was like, "How are people giving us super chats?" I was totally confused.
Yeah, they said I saw the little symbols for memberships. I was like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
So when this is done, I'm gonna have to upload the video. I'll just download the video from stream. And I'll put it back. I'll put it over on the Week in Horror side. I guess people won't see it live. So I guess, well, fuck it. You know, I lesson learned. Don't be an idiot. So that's my
I
bad.
wouldn't say you were being an idiot. You just
I can tell you
overlooked a
this.
small thing.
I can tell you this. For anybody that super chats, those super chats will go into Week in Horror. They won't be going to me. They'll be going to Week in Horror.
Same thing.
So,
At the end of the day, it's the same thing.
Well, no, I keep two separate coffers. Yeah, okay. I try.
Right pocket, left pocket. We got
it. So, Commander Darklight for $14.99 Australian. Seeing as how we can. Oh, when in Rome, baby. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Commander Darklight. You are amazing. I do appreciate that. But back to see, this is interesting. This is a good test for when Week in Horror does get monetized and having to deal with monetization while we're talking about the movies. This is a good test here. Yeah, this is a good dry run.
Yeah.
But going back into it,
a
yes.
happy accident. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a happy accident. So going on with it, the biggest issue that we have, or I said the big thing that I have that I look forward to, and the reason I'm excited about it is that new hands, new minds. Because unfortunately, Jeepers Creepers 3 just didn't have the money, didn't have the wherewithal. I mean, didn't have everything behind it needed to make it great. So it was very slapdash. They did the best they could with what they had, but what they had was very, very limited. Thank you, NANA, for $6.66 American dollars. Hail Satan. I do appreciate that.
Thank you. Hail Satan.
And let's see, jail. Oh, so Chris Durham says, looks like a high percentage of the people are Week in Horror fans. Badass.
Yes.
Awesome. So, and we appreciate that big time. So I'm looking forward to new minds, new hands, new focus, new creative direction as to where we can take this, because I don't want to lose an awesome horror icon. You know, I need to just, yeah, it could have stopped. That could have been the end of it. No, I don't want to lose it. I want to see it continue. I think it'll be, I think I like the opportunity, and I don't want to be like, whatever. They made it. I think the monster is good. The character is great. Let's do something new with it. Let's get new minds, fresh eyes on this thing. I mean, this movie came out in 2001.
Yeah.
2001. 2001,
Yeah.
this movie came out. Mm-hmm. So Jonathan Breck has been playing the Creeper for 20 years.
Over 3 films.
Still, I mean, that's what he's known for. And he's going to be playing it again. So, yes, we got that. I want to see fresh blood in this, and I want to see them really take this in a direction, because new minds, new hands, new minds, new production studio means bigger money. Means we can justify putting a truckload of money into this to make it really awesome. So hopefully we'll get something that either is comparative to the first film or blows the first film out of the water. So either way, I'm looking forward to it. I want to ask the audience. Yes. Let's ask the audience. Let's get the audience's opinion on this. Rebooting Jeepers Creepers, complete fresh start, full-on reboot, yay or nay? Do we want it? Do we not want it? Do we just leave the Creeper to the dust with all the other horror icons that didn't make it, or continue on, salvage the monster, salvage salvage the creature that Jonathan Breck has worked so hard to bring to life and bring and really bring his own to, and just start fresh with it and begin it again? One or the other. Yes, no, let us know in the live chat, or let us know in the comments below, or at weekinhorror@gmail.com. Because remember, Alex still needs that writing material while he's up at 3 a.m. dealing with the new kid.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so moving on. Eugene, cash grab time.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So the next film we have is Annabelle, released September 3rd, 2014. It was directed by John R. Leonetti, and it stars Annabelle Wallis, Ward Horton, and Alfre Woodard. And basically, in a nutshell, you got a satanic demon-possessed doll that just haunts people.
That doesn't do a fucking thing. God.
Shit.
From one shit movie to another one.
Yeah, sort of like. Yeah.
I think NA summed it up. Annabelle was pretty good.
I just don't get it. I can't do it with these cheap cash grabs. I can't do it. Come on. It's a fucking doll that sits in a chair. Oh my god, I'm so scared. Who's gonna buy that doll?
Oh yeah, we've talked about this before. In terms of that doll, no one would fucking buy a doll that looks like that. No one would.
Who's gonna buy a Raggedy Ann doll? Millions of people.
Yes.
I'm telling you, it would be way more scary if you had the original Raggedy Ann doll walking down a hallway by itself than anything this super intentional creepy doll does. Like this thing right here, I was like, oh fuck that! I don't want that in my house. No. And then movie over. That's it.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to give a huge shout out. Elizabeth S is a new patron. Elizabeth S has joined our slasher tier. Welcome to the slasher tier, Elizabeth S. We do appreciate it big time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We do appreciate it. Look forward to your monthly newsletter and, of course, your early access to the Week in Horror Bloodbaths. And, of course, I think you've got like over a year's worth of Bloodbaths and After Darks available on Patreon to take a look at. Not to mention behind-the-scenes photos from the shoot of Nail Gun. So I hope you dig that. But thank you very much. We do appreciate it. Just got to give that shout out and continue.
But yeah, I mean, going back to it, like you look at this doll, and you're like, I don't want to buy that, and then the movie's over, like because like that's it. Versus like a Raggedy Ann doll that's like, hey, millions of people bought it. I want my kid to have it. And so what are you gonna do? You're gonna buy it. You're gonna give it to your kid, and then
it's
all of a
gonna
sudden,
murder everybody.
And then all of a sudden it's walking down the hallway. It pops out of.
Did watching this make anybody else pine for Chucky? For the original Child's Play?
I don't not necessarily, because even the good guy doll is still fucking creepy as shit. I don't know if I would buy that. Like
that kind of cabbage patch look.
It's kind of funny. I told you about that coworker I had, right? She was deathly afraid of Cabbage Patch dolls. So I used to hide them around her workstation all the time.
But that's what watching Annabelle got me in the mode. When you have the atmosphere, exactly, and he's right. It's been done. Child's Play. It has been done. Frank says Annabelle was another gratuitous fan service movie that just missed the mark. They wanted to tell more of the Conjuring universe, but
it was a cash grab.
It was a cash grab because
the bitch of it is, it could have worked, but you make a movie about a doll that's demonic, and the doll does nothing. That's like
it just looks creepy.
Exactly. That's like saying, "Hey, we're going to do a Friday the 13th, but we're not going to have Jason's not going to do anything. He's just going to sit in a fucking chair and look at you funny."
Yeah. Hey, Sir Little Wolf has joined. Good to see you, Sir Little Wolf, and Stevie B. Good to see you. So the big thing, I mean, that's what it got. I kept because I remember watching The Conjuring, and everything that worked in The Conjuring, because The Conjuring for all of it's kind of like kind of falling apart. It's kind of like like going. I think it's a little bit like it's lost its edge now with the third one, but the first one was fucking scary. The problem was they use all the same. They use everything that worked in The Conjuring to make this one work. And the problem is with The Conjuring, you've got legitimate ghosts or demon or whatever. You've got legitimate
stuff.
They did stuff to you. This one, the doll is just there. The doll is like a focal point. And
the doll went and tied your shoes together. Ooh.
And so, I just recall, I was like, I watched it, I was like, interesting. I honestly thought, Tony Regina, the scariest doll is the ventriloquist dummy in Magic. That was a scary use of a doll.
Or Joey.
The dolls in...
You still haven't seen Joey, haven't seen that yet. Making Contact?
I haven't yet.
You got to watch it. I'm not talking about creepy-ass dolls.
So, and in looking at this one, I'm kind of like, there's better ways to play instead of just making a scary-ass looking doll. At least in those bargain bin Robert the Doll movies, which are just... and they're even worse. At least that doll fucking runs around and does shit. I don't watch it and go, like, I can see what they were doing here, but it's really The Conjuring. But instead of ghosts running around, it's a doll that just sits there and it looks fucking creepy. Why would anybody buy this in the first place? I'd rather buy something that was at least that was at least fun looking, I'd rather buy a good guy doll. I'd rather be watching Child's Play.
Yeah, I mean, they could have literally picked anything out of the case from the office of those two paranormal investigators. They could have picked anything to do this story with. Anything. The book, that would have been even. It's like if it was like one of a possessed book or demonic book, that would have made more sense. The reason why I didn't do shit because it's a fucking book.
Yeah, it's a doll. You're expecting it to move
Get up and throw
around
knives.
and like
rip people's faces off. Something.
Just yeah.
The doll left a flaming bag of poo on your doorstep. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say about this movie. We haven't said it already 1,000 times.
I mean, it's they made money off of it, and it's just another movie in the universe, and they made a bunch, and they made more. Apparently, this one's successful enough because you get like Annabelle Creation and all the others that came out.
But yeah, I think that's what it came along to, and of course, I think they take big inspiration from. They take big inspiration from what, Marvel and Disney was doing with the MCU. Everything's got to be a cinematic universe nowadays. Everything's got to be expanded out with continuity so that you can branch it out, so you can justify multiple films that people will go to see to get additional storyline. And that just seems to be that's the trend in Hollywood now.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's
nothing wrong with it.
Annabelle.
Well, it's nothing wrong with it as long as your filmmaking is not lazy. As long as it's not lazy filmmaking. Because you could have brought someone in. I mean, I'm sure but I get that they went with what worked. What worked in The Conjuring, they reapplied it here. But your focal point, your villain, is not the same, is the problem.
Right.
Is that you have a fundamentally different bad guy in this. And that's where they dropped the ball, because they tried to apply what worked in The Conjuring to a completely different bad guy. And that's like saying, we're going to take the fight to the villain, but it's we're Jason character, we're Friday the 13th characters. We're going to take the fight to the villain, but we're fighting Freddy. And it does not work that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Annie wants to know, is somebody washing dishes?
No.
That would be a yes. But yeah, I mean, I think it was pretty much a cash grab, and I think sadly it was obvious it was a cash grab. And while Annabelle Creation wasn't bad, and it was better, I actually would say the Annabelle Creation was better than this first one, because when they went to do a prequel about it, they had to work with stuff that wasn't already done, because The Conjuring established Annabelle, so they just ran with a tangential story. Whereas Annabelle Creation, they had to go back and create they actually had to go back and say, okay, well, we actually need to write like where this thing came from, and we actually need to write a backstory that's engaging. So unlike a Raggedy Ann doll, where it's just like, okay, it was made by the manufacturer, but they had to come up with this big backstory to justify an entire feature film about it. So that forced them to get creative again, at least to make a selling, or at least to make I would say an acceptable plot. And therefore, just by virtue of that alone, Creation was actually better than the other one. Plus, we realized it's not about the doll. It's about the family around the doll that invariably leads to the doll getting possessed, which I thought was good.
The doll doesn't do anything. It's a movie about a doll that doesn't do anything.
Hey, Rodent last name says Gabba Gabba. Hey, everybody. Sorry I'm late. You can start now. Well, we appreciate it, Rodent no last name.
All right, so welcome to Week in Horror, everybody.
And Omni Orosboro says, Annabelle Creation. They made a doll and it sat in a store. Spooky. So, Stephen King, you got anything scary for me now?
Even says monster on it, written in satanic letters.
I just love he just picks up the lamp. Oh, and he picks up the. But yeah, unfortunately, it's where it went. At least, I mean, at least with the Nun, we got some interesting stuff. At least, we got a scary Nun.
Yeah,
creature.
there's a reason why the Nun looks like that.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because nobody's trying to buy the. Well, I don't know about nobody's trying to buy the Nun. Somebody might be trying to buy the Nun, but that's irrelevant. Nobody's gonna buy this stupid fucking doll. Nobody's gonna pick up this stupid doll. And be like, hey, I'm gonna give this to my toddler.
Yeah, so they can go play with it and scar them for life.
Probably they'll never speak out again, ever. They'll never talk.
Omni Oros Boros asks the question we're all asking: why can't we have giant irradiated brains shooting lasers again?
I mean, the simple things in life.
It's the simple things, yeah.
You really do miss.
You gotta enjoy the little things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Irradiated brain shooting lasers. No fuss, no muss. We get this.
It works. That's all I'm saying.
It does. So I want to ask the audience that we pretty much just hammered this topic, and is the original Annabelle creepier, the Raggedy Ann doll, or do you find the new Annabelle creepy? Let us know in the comments below, or shoot us an email at weekinhorror@gmail.com.
I have seen pictures of that original, the original one, the one that was in the Warren Museum. I will admit, it's just a fucking doll. But the way they got it set up, they got the glass case, the do not open under any circumstances.
Right.
Like the kind of red light that was. I was like, the fucking thing looked creepy. You know,
look creepy.
It does look creepy. I honestly would be that thing sitting in the corner, just kind of like. That's a little, it's like, even I would be like, because it's so plain, and you can't get it, at least with the Annabelle doll in the movies, it's bad. It's like, okay, that's
going to kill things.
I'm going to walk in the room like, what is this?
Yeah, come on,
Yeah,
guys.
What is
Go
this
ahead and
thing?
lock this up with the glass and the spells on it so it can't get out.
Yes, you're right. Omni Oros Boros, the Warrens made Annabelle up. And
They made up all the stories.
I agree with you. We're just asking, what makes a creepier doll? Like a legitimately creepier doll. 'Cause some people are really creeped out by dolls, especially ventriloquist dummies or porcelain Victorian dolls. But some people find dolls very, very creepy. Which one would be creepier? The original Annabelle doll or the one that they used in the movie?
The original one. I'm sorry,
I think the
because
original one too, yeah.
that Raggedy Ann doll, man. If I were to see that thing run around, I expect like the Annabelle doll they used to run around look creepy. I just expect it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That little old Raggedy Ann doll with a triangle nose and all that. Like, oh, look how cute. Oh, it's killing me now. It's going to murder me.
Yeah, at least it could sneak up on you and be like, oh, look at that. And you pick it up and then it get lashed to your face. And
right.
Bite your face off or something.
Eat your eyeball or something.
Yeah.
Frank Christopher Musiano says Ken doll is creepiest. Frank says my mom always had Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls around the house when I was growing up. She was a fan of the original content. That newer version is definitely creepier. And Beaver C says can't stand the Annabelle doll. They just stole the look from Glenda. The Glenda from Seed of Chucky.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I found a lot of the inspiration in that. I think if you look at Robert the Doll, like the Robert the Doll movies, which are just, God, they're awful. But if you look at that one, I see a lot of the Glenda doll kind of transferred over to the Robert the Doll series. If you just Google images that one, Google Robert the Doll horror movie, then you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. N-A-N-A. Dead eyes like a doll's eyes.
Doll's eye.
All right.
So, Johnny, what do we got? What do we got next?
All right.
Take us home.
We're taking a hard left here from shitty films to The Owners, which is a 2020 horror thriller film adapted from the graphic novel Une Nuit de Pleine Lune. I don't speak whatever the fuck language that is. I think that's French. Sorry, I don't mean to offend my French-speaking people out there. But your language is retarded. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
You're
Anyway,
gonna get me demonetized.
I am.
This is why I can't make this mistake again. I gotta take this video off my channel and put it on Week in Horror where it belongs.
This is the directorial debut of Julius Bird, correct? With screenplay by Matthew Gompel and Julius Berg, in collaboration with Jeffrey Cox. Stars Maisie Williams, Sylvester McCoy, and Rita Tungscombe. Jake Tushingham. Sorry, I can't see. This eye doesn't work, JL. You give me these crazy, ridiculous names. Anyway, so stars these people. You got these guys decide to take break in the home. They break into a home. It's a home invasion story gone wrong. I mean, let's be honest. That's what it is. It's like the Jizz story, except without the Jizz guy. The funny thing is, you all knew what I'm talking about. I didn't get the opportunity to really dive into this one because I kind of got bored when I started watching it.
That would be fair enough.
I mean, I wanted to like it, right? Because I thought the performances by Maisie Williams was really good. I thought she was good in the role, but I don't know, something about the film didn't really grab me, and like it wasn't engaging for some reason.
I think one of the big things that hit this one the hardest, and what struck me the most was you got home invasion thrillers. Home invasion movies I think the one that pops into most people's minds when we say home invasion is going to be either The Strangers or You're Next,
right?
Or Straw. There's a couple of them. There's like Straw Dogs and
right. And The Strangers and You're Next start out like with a bang. Like You're Next especially starts out just like on point. We got two main characters that are red herrings. We kill them really quick. And we don't know why it's happening. It doesn't really explain anything until much later on in the film when everything starts to wrap up, which is really cool. That was engaging. With this one here, it's just like, oh, hey, we're out in the middle of nowhere. Let's go break into this house. Oh, by the way, I'm pregnant. What the fuck?
Yeah. The big thing that stood out to me is that home invasion thrillers typically they're brutal, they're rough. It's the concept of being, like someone's breaking into your home and being it's scary in that respect. But the big, they're not often, and they can be violent like that, but they're not often just mean-spirited films. And by that meaning is that it's not there just for the sake and purpose of, you could say like Friday the 13th movies could be fairly mean-spirited because we don't give a shit about the characters. It's all about the violence. It's all about the exploitation. Seeing some titties.
At least later on, right?
So the first one is titties, seeing drug use, then somebody gets smoked with some various implement that Jason picks up somewhere.
Face goes through a car door.
These can be fairly mean spirited, but we curb that with a little bit of comedy. Good whatever. So we find a way to curb it, but the really truly mean spirited stuff is kind of like a hallmark back to like the 70s, like the 60s and the 70s. Like there was a lot of movies that the real exploitation was like Maniac. Maniac was an extraordinarily mean-spirited film. Movies like that are not looking to curb anything. They're just looking to exploit and looking to shock and looking to just be like, ugh, stuff like that, and just to really get under your skin. And what got me is that home invasion, we want to care about people. We want to care about the people who are in the house, the home that's being invaded, even if you have a twist like in this movie, like in The Owners. Mm-hmm. But it was a very, very mean-spirited, very cynical film. And the thing that didn't work for me is that this is well, first of all, let me ask two questions for two reasons. Let me ask this. Does this type of filmmaking still work? In this day and age, 2021, with the way society is moving, you have things like the Me Too movement. You have things like, where things like stand your ground and various things are big topics, self-defense and various, the concepts of your personal rights are big stories right now. There's a big forefront. There's a big shift in our society as to where these lie, what to finding them and all these sorts of deals. So the home invasion thriller, obviously being an invasion of rights and privacy kind of horror movie, but to this level, to this degree, this kind of mean-spirited, cynical nature of it, do these still work today? Is this a form of storytelling that's still really? I get why it played in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, but 2021, is there a place for this?
The one thing that comes to mind would be like Don't Breathe, because that's a home invasion film, and I think it could totally still play out. Like maybe it could be definitely be executed better, and it can be something that could be more interesting, because I think the biggest shift in today's is the competition of all the stuff that you have to fight with to hold the audience's attention.
Oversaturation.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not just the movie theater. It's not just, hey, someone's going to watch it on their TV or on HBO or something like that. Now you got the cell phone, you got the iPad, you got all this competition.
A lot of stimulus.
People are watching more films at home, so maybe cooking something, they're dealing with their kids, a whole number of things. So when you have really slow-paced films on it, you can't, like, to me, Lost in Translation, I love that film. I don't know if it could be made today because of very limited dialogue. They're having entire conversations of just these looks, and if you're not paying attention, you're gonna miss a lot of what's happening. And because I noticed with Lost in Translation, everybody who saw it in theaters loved it. Everybody who watched it at home hated it. I saw it in theater, I loved it.
Yeah,
but it was that distinct. It was just a matter of where do you watch it, and I told people, like, no, you have to put your phone down and watch it on it. Now, this movie's not near as good as Lost in Translation, but you can't do that slow pace anymore because at the very least, with some of the better slow burn horrors, they're still able to build up this tension. You can look away for a while and come back and still feel that tension. You still have this stuff that goes on, because if you look at, say, Midsummer, which is still kind of a slow-paced film, you'll still have these disturbing imagery that would pop up, like the girl that popped up in the mirror that still had like the mask on her face, and it's like, ooh, that's disturbing, and it kind of brings you back into the film.
Yeah, I mean, slow burns are tough to pull off in general, and when you have a genre or a specific film that's been done several times and done better, quite frankly, like when you're talking about the movie you just brought up, Baby Baser movie.
Don't Breathe.
Don't Breathe.
Don't Breathe.
My goodness. Yeah. See, that one was just done better.
Yeah.
You know, and there was a really cool element there that, here are these guys coming in thinking they're the bad guys, and really they're not. This crazy blind war veteran who's insane is the real reveal of what's really going on in this house. Oh my God, that was so much of an engaging story. And that slow burn really it made you want to watch the movie and find out what was happening next. With this, I just like, if I find out what happens next, cool. If I don't, I don't. I didn't care about the story. I didn't care about the characters. I didn't care about what happened. I really didn't. It just wasn't engaging.
Yeah, it was just kind of like it's just there.
Yeah, it did have that, and that was the second thing that I found to be interesting, because it's a British film, and
that explains it.
There's a differentiation. There's a differentiation between the kind of like the British sensibility and the American sensibility. A home invasion thriller, in an American film is that's wildly different. We know how we'd react. We're Americans. We know. I don't want to go into the whole like American ideology. So someone coming into my house, I don't want to
blow them away with my bazooka.
But this is British. This is British mentality. Is it possible this doesn't work because it's a British film?
No, because 28 Days was a British film and that worked.
But 28 Days was a zombie thriller. This is
I get it. But even
this is home invasion.
Shaun of the Dead was a British film and it works.
But I don't know what this
British movies.
I just don't think that home invasion thrillers work in the same vein being British. Simply because they don't react the way American audiences would react. Like, we can sympathize with the strangers. We would sympathize with how they react to that situation because they're Americans. We get why we would react the same way. We would do the same thing. But
it's still somebody who's not supposed to be in your house trying to get into your house or getting into your house and causing you harm. I mean, I don't think there's an American version of that story versus a British version of that story. I think it ultimately, when we're talking about the violation of your private space, of your domicile, that's something that's universal, right? I don't think I don't think the fact that it's a British film is what is wrong with this movie.
I mean, because really the only thing is, okay, yeah, America, we're very gun happy, gun toting, all the other kind of stuff. Whereas over in Britain, they have real strict like gun laws and stuff like that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it would have to be, they have to be more subdued or anything like that. Because honestly, we'll just get up a knife and we'll defend ourselves with a knife. And could be a great fight scene. Just a boom, they attack and all of a sudden knives and they're cutting each other and blood going everywhere and stuff like that. That could actually be way more interesting than somebody just pulling out a gun and shooting somebody.
Interesting. This is an interesting point. This is why I want to bring this up. Daryl M brings it up. This is good. They work for the British. Why does it have to work in the U.S.? Why does it just have to work in the U.S.? Do we have to make movies just for America? And you're right, we don't. We don't have to.
That seems to be kind of a universal thing when we're talking about entertainment. For some reason, people think that if it doesn't work in the States, it doesn't work, right? If you look at music, right? So if you can look at like the music scene, at least when I was more into it, there were bands that could play over here in the States, and they were playing for pennies every weekend that could go over to Europe and play and make like €600 a night, playing 3-4 nights a week, just lots. You know what I mean? Like Bugs Henderson was huge in Germany and huge in Europe. Over here, nobody. I say Bugs Henderson. Most of the people in the chat don't know who the fuck I'm talking about. Bugs Henderson goes to Europe and he's got Bugs Henderson tribute bands. I mean, same kind of thing.
You're talking about Sugar Man. If you've ever watched that documentary, Searching for Sugar Man, he was a musician in the 70s. He recorded one album and released it. It was complete failure in America. And he quit. He took a construction job, lived his life. Well, somehow the album went to South Africa and blew up. And for 30, 40 years, he had no idea. And I mean, these people had posters of him and they're like listening, they're clamoring. Most of the people thought he was dead over there because they never heard anything from him since. And so until a team actually went out and found him and flew him to South Africa, and people are holding signs when the airport landed, huge crowd of people, but it just didn't work here in America.
Well, that's gotta be surreal. It's gotta be so surreal.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for some reason, so is David Hasselhoff. But for some reason, I don't know what it is. I don't know why the States have become like the place where you have to make it in the States to be considered made it. You know what I mean?
Become the benchmark, exactly.
Yeah, right. I don't know why. I don't know why that is, because it's not like we have the most people. You would think that like if you make it in India, that's the place to make it, or
you make it in China.
Because
this is what got me, and I mean, it's totally non-horror related because we're talking about a bunch of non-horror films. But by comparison, the Warcraft film. I'm a giant Warcraft fan, a World of Warcraft fan. Everybody knows it. The Warcraft film did not do well here in the States. I think for the cost of that movie, I think it made something. I don't know what it has. It made a pittance compared to like that. So it was something like 70, 80 million. I think it didn't even crack 100 mil. The cost of the movie was like $250,000 or $250 million to make. It's like a $250 million film. Barely made. I mean, it was like 80, 90 million here in the States. I think maybe close to 100 million in the States. That's bad. It made almost 600 million in theater sales in China.
Right.
Yeah. 600 million in theater sales in China, and guess what? It's not getting a sequel.
Nope. Yeah, I mean,
when you've got Robert the Doll, he's got 4 fucking movies. What the fuck? It makes no sense. But I mean, that's just the Warcraft enemy. Talk about that. So, let me see. We got some. We got NA. NA says America. Yes, that's what it boils down to. Let me see. And thank you, Elizabeth Sylvester, for checking out the Week in Horror YouTube account, which is where this show should be currently and will be when we get done. Let me see. Daryl M asked that. Yes. Chris Durham Music Channel says the British never freak out unless you serve them tea that was brewed with lukewarm water.
Then it happens.
All the way they take it in stride. See, Omnior's Bro says most British people would offer home invaders a nice hot cup of tea, a chance to catch up on the telly. And that was it, because that happens. At one point, they serve the homeowners serve the invaders tea.
Yeah,
they do this.
Yeah,
and it was just it was so odd, and maybe it's just because I'm not British. But what I was looking at, and especially to answer Daryl M's deal, what I was looking at was why this movie didn't do well here, because it didn't. But in Britain, it kind of did. It did better in England than it did over here. It did better overseas than it did here in the States.
I think it's marketing.
Maybe it was, yeah. I think they were trying to sell it on the fact that Maisie Williams was in it. They were banking on her GOT rep, their Game of Thrones rep, in order to sell this movie.
Because that's why she's in it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, she's not a bad actress.
No, I think she's extraordinary. She's very talented.
Well, yeah, the fact that she's was
better than fucking Jodelle Ferland. Sorry. She's terrible. Anybody doesn't know, she was the girl. She was the young girl from Silent Hill and a number of other products like that. But yeah, she's rubbish.
So was Silent Hill 2.
Oh
yeah.
Jodelle Ferland would have made that movie better. That's how bad that fucking movie was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daryl.
Anyway,
milk then tea. Then you will see a horror movie. Omni Ouroboros. Don't talk to Brits about microwaving tea. Then you'll see the horror side of it. Hell yeah. Oh man! I wish I could get into talking about the Warcry film Omni Ouroboros. It wasn't bad, but it's formulaic. This is true. Duncan Jones said that movie was like death from 1,000 cuts. It's just there was way too many chefs in that kitchen thinking that they were fucking Gordon Ramsay when they were fucking
Ronald McDonald.
They were Rachel fucking Ray. And
you guys are mean. Rachel Ray's Italian.
Okay, yeah, but yours was better. There were too many cooks in that kitchen thinking they were fucking Gordon Ramsay when they were Ronald McDonald.
Yeah,
and just that's just not how you make movies.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's the thing that got me about the owners. I wanted to dig in, and it wasn't just for Maisie. I like seeing Maisie. She grew up in Game of Thrones. That's where we got her, and I like seeing her branch away from that and not to like seeing something different from Arya, because we got fucking Arya like almost 10, 11, like how long did all of Game of Thrones? Was it like 10 years?
Yeah, about 10 years.
For us to get the whole story and to get everything out with all the breaks and things that they took. I want to see her flex her wings. I want to see her do new stuff. And she had one that came out where she played the boarding school girl, the fainting kids. It was a suspense thriller. And anyway, but that was good. She got to really, really, really impressed with her, the depth of her acting chops. But in this particular one, no, I don't think. I think you know what? I'm going to suspend judgment. I think it's because I'm American and I'm not British. I don't look at home invasion the same way. So having the British response to it doesn't seem to make sense to me. But I think that's my American bias. So I'm going to suspend judgment, because I think I'm influenced by my American bias.
I don't know. I think it was just a not good movie, because there are a lot of British films out there that work. And I don't think that, again, home invasion is something that's like an American thing. I think that's a universal. I think that's universal thing that it's that violation of your personal, of your castle. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. I just think it was just the movie itself. It was either the writing, the directing, or just overall just wasn't done right. I don't know. Because if you think about it, The Strangers didn't have a whole lot. There wasn't a whole lot of shoot 'em up in that.
There wasn't.
You know what I mean?
Wasn't.
So I think it was just poorly executed.
Yeah, that's fair.
Speaking of that question, that's exactly what we're going to ask the audience. Do you think that this genre is more of a U.S. genre, or do you think it could work anywhere? Let us know in the side chat, in the comment section below, or at weekinhorror@gmail.com.
Awesome. All right. Well, I guess it's about that time, isn't it? Yeah,
Is it at this time?
We're pretty much right on schedule. It's trivia time. If I had an animatic
Okay,
we
I'll get on
like
that.
an animatic that I can drop a trivia. Or something.
Oh yeah, what do you? Yeah. Give everybody who's got fucking epilepsy a fucking seizure.
Yes, it is trivia time. It's the time that y'all have been waiting for because you deal with all of our talking like that so you can win free shit at the end of the show.
Right.
So here we go. And I think it's on me. Yeah, I've got the trivia question.
Wait.
Yeah. Wait.
What is the free shit?
Good point. The free shit tonight we are giving away because this
petrified shit.
This is the last chance, the last week that the limited edition Week in Horror shirt number 3 will be in the shop. So we are giving one person a chance to win a limited edition Kink Shaming Cannibal shirt for free in this trivia because September 1st, it's off the store and no longer available. And shortly after that, we will debut the Week in Horror limited edition shirt number 4. So this is your last chance to win a Kink Shaming Cannibal shirt before it's gone. And we debut the next one, which I think Eugene will love when he sees it. So this is going to be a fun one. And so here's your opportunity. Get those fingers flexing, unless you know it right off the bat. Our trivia question tonight. Well, of course, you read the script.
I just know this one.
So trivia question tonight. You ready? Yes, Omni Ouroboros, for free. We will print one and shoot it to you if you are the first one in the live chat to get it correct. So use whatever means you need. Ask a friend, phone a friend, get 50-50. We don't care. Just be the first one. There is no cheating in this game because if you know it, you're just going to drop it immediately. No one knows it. You're going to have to look it up anyway. So go for it. Whatever means you need. Trivia question for tonight. Denise Crosby began her film career as a sex symbol in a number of romantic comedies. But what film ultimately made her a scream queen and defined her Hollywood future? Now, one more time. Denise Crosby began her film career as a sex symbol in a number of romantic comedies. But what film ultimately made her a scream queen and defined her Hollywood future? First person in the live chat who gets that answer wins a Week in Horror Kink Shaming Cannibals limited edition shirt number 3. We will punch that out and give it to you.
Surf's got it.
Smart, Surf. I see what you did there. I see what you're attempting to do. That was really good. So first person in the live chat to get that. Boom!
Omni Ouroboros.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nicely done. So Charlie Welch said Creep Show. Unfortunately not. Commander Darklight said the Eliminators. Nope, not quite yet, but it was her role as Mama or as the mother to Gage, the little zombie child, that made her a scream queen. Especially that epic scene where she shows up at the end and she's like half fucking rotting and shit. But yes, it was Pet Sematary was the one that literally took her career into the horror genre and made Denise Crosby a horror legend. If it wasn't for movies like Pet Sematary, for Pet Sematary, we wouldn't have seen her in The Walking Dead. We wouldn't have seen her in a number of the horror films that she has done lately, like Itsy Bitsy, because that's the way her career went. It's kind of like it's very similar to Karen Black, because Karen Black was an extremely talented, very ubiquitous actress. But the minute she did Trilogy of Terror, boom, that's the direction her career went. And she used it. And she did horror movies. She always kind of lamented that that's where her career went because she didn't intend for Trilogy of Terror to make her a scream queen. She intended to show her range by all the different characters she played. But unfortunately, when you're good in a horror movie, you're going to be good in horror movies. So, but yep, Denise Crosby, scream queen from Pet Sematary. Other answers we got here. Let me see. Daryl M says Star Trek Generations. Rodinella Slime says Eliminators. Charlie Welch says well done. Noise. Already have the t-shirt. I was Charlie Welch was half-assing it. Rodinella's name says technically the whole first season of TNG was a horror show.
Well,
Daryl M says Star Trek Generations was a horror movie. Actually, I would say the way they treated Denise Crosby on that set was a horror show. I think so. That's just my opinion. I think they treated her pretty shitty. But yes, awesome work. Let me see here. Elizabeth Smith says, I didn't even know who that was. I'm not knowledgeable. I don't really watch movie shows. Well, then we're glad that you're here so that we can educate you on.
We don't watch movies either.
We watch them so that you don't have to. We can say
Exactly.
Yeah.
No.
We weed out the bad ones.
We sit through this shit so that you don't have to. Which is that line's probably going in the next trailer.
There you go.
We sit through it so you don't have to. Oh, amazing. So congratulations to Omni Oros Boros. Please send us via the Discord or to weekinhorror@gmail.com your shipping information and your size so that we can get you the appropriate size shirt. So let us know, weekinhorror@gmail.com, or you can just hit us up on the Discord. You can message me directly, however you like. Get us those details, and we'll get your shirt printed and to you. Heads up, Teespring is experiencing some delays, and I am in communication with them. I don't know what's going on. They're not being very big about it, but we've got things that have been ordered and are supposed to go out but have not arrived yet. So if there's a delay in you getting your shirt, I don't know what's going on specifically with it because they haven't told me. But if there's a delay, let us know, and I'll keep on track. I'll keep up to date on the tracking information and try to keep you guys abreast of it. So let me know if there's an issue there, but we'll get that sent out to you. And remember, all the links you need are down in the description if you want to check out our Teespring store yourself. But I think that's it, guys. I think that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right, well, this brings another episode of Week in Horror to a close. Thank you all so much for listening, and we truly hope you enjoyed the show. Join us next week when we look back at All Cheerleaders Die, The Moth Diaries, Shadows, and Cube. I love Cube, by the way.
Looking forward to talking about this one.
Cube's one of my favorite movies. We'd like to send a special shout out to our amazing Patreons who have helped us make the show the success it has become. Thank you all so much. And also be sure to check out Joshua Olsen's new store, www.badsamurai.store. Joshua does all the amazing artwork for our limited edition t-shirts, and he has some amazing new designs you all will be sure to love. Visit us at weekinhorror.net, where you can find links to all of our episodes, our bios, our merch store at Teespring, and of course, enter your email for a permanent entry to win a mystery horror shirt every month, courtesy of $6shirts.com. For more horror entertainment, be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Followers get our daily splatter, a bit of horror info every day, right to your feed. You never know what new horrors you may discover. Subscribe to our channel and smash that bell like a zombie's head for all the latest updates for the show. We really hope you enjoy the new live format, and we'd love to get your feedback. Be sure to leave us a comment below, as the interactions really help us with the dreaded algorithm. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. And lastly, if you truly love what we do here and you would like to and are able to support our production, you can through our Patreon. We have subscriber tiers as low as $1. You get bonus and exclusive content and horror films every month for our higher tiers. However, if you prefer, you can support the show through our PayPal as well. Links to everything, including our Discord community, where you can find film recommendations, trailers, trivia games, horror watch parties, and even interact directly with us, are in the description. And while the country is finally beginning to recover from recent events, we know that things are still pretty tight for many people. As always, simply commenting, liking, sharing this show with your friends and your local horror community is the absolute best way to help us continue to grow. Thank you all for being the greatest audience a podcast could have. I'm Eugene.
I'm Johnny O.
I'm JL.
And we'll see you next week. And as always, stay scared.